All right, I've dried my painting off completely. It's warm to the touch everywhere. You can see the value of these blocks. It keeps your paintings nice and flat. Keeps it nice and tight. And then when you're done, you can slide a knife in here and slide all the way around, and this one will pop off, and you have a fresh painting underneath. I like to keep it on while I'm painting because it keeps your painting nice and tight. All right, now I want to come back in. Now I really kind of start looking at my value sketch for the road maps a little bit more. Got this nice dark down here, these nice darks underneath the tea kettle, these nice darks up above in it. And I'm probably going to add just a little bit dark between the handle and the teapot itself, just to kind of want to darken up that area a little bit. Even though it's not in my value sketch, I can see in here I want to just darken that area up a little bit, just to bring out that handle a little bit more. So I'm going to start with the number 8 brush. Got clean water to start with this time. And now I'm going to switch over to my phthalo blue, so my darker blue. Apply a little bit of phthalo blue. This wash just gets a little bit thicker. Paint just gets just a hair bit thicker. Again, I'm working on dry paper, wet paint, so wet onto dry. Just going to make this little opening in the top. Same color. I'm going to make this one at on a spout. And I'm going to, again, bounce some of that dark blue around a little bit. Maybe down here on just some of these edges. I can just kind of pull out a little bit of that dark on some of these. Rinse my brush and just pull off those edges, just softening up a little bit. They're just going to read as foliage in the garden. Now I can start looking at these nice darks here. I'm going to use my phthalo blue to get it just a little bit darker. This time I'm start adding just a little bit of new gamboge, just so I get a nice, really dark green. Right at the base of my pot there, right at the base there, nice and dark, cutting that out. Like I said earlier, I wanted to use some of that dark in between here. I'm going to rinse my brush, and then I'm just going to pull that edge off a little bit. Pull that edge off a little bit. I can soften this one up just a little bit. See, I like how that cuts into that handle now. I want to cut around this foliage here. You can see how that dark really sets that teapot right down. Gives it something to sit on. All right. Now I'm going to come back in with a little bit more phthalo blue. Darken it up. I'm going to do the base of my pot nice and dark. I'll rinse my brush. Pull a little bit of that color up. Let those colors bleed together a little bit. More phthalo blue. Cut my handle out, or my spout out, just a little bit here. And I want some right on the inside of that. Pull that edge out a little bit. Now, again, for balance, I just want to use some of that dark blue, and maybe just a few darks down in here, just to bounce that blue around my painting a little bit. Here, I think I want to come back in with a little bit of that light yellow. And I'm just going to put just a little bit of light yellow in this white, just to knock it back a little bit. All right, so I've got nice darks down kind of through here. I think I just need a few up in here. So I'm going to mix my new gamboge, my phthalo blue, and my alizarin crimson all together, just to get a dark neutral color up here. And we'll start up in this corner, a bit darker. And I want to use some of that dark right along that base of that teapot. Oh, that dark kind of bounces up there a little bit more. With that dark, let's cut this teapot handle out just a little bit more, like that little corner right there. I'm going to keep this corner fairly light and then make all the rest of my corners fairly dark. So I'm going to come back in here with a nice real dark green. I'm just going to really darken this corner up a little bit more, just a little bit darker. Keep this corner fairly light. Kind of helps with composition just to have one corner different than the other three. Just a little bit more yellow in here just to lighten this up a little bit more. Kind of pull you in a little bit. Kind of pulls you in this corner up and into your teapot up in here. Maybe just a little bit of that yellow. I just want to bounce up here just a little bit, maybe next to that. Just to kind of keep those colors traveling through your painting. Minor fixes coming back through. I can always put a few more veins into these leaves if I want. I can run these up at an angle. Create that space for the leaf or for the vein. And I just kind of pull off those other two edges. That puts that vein kind of running off that center vein. I'll do another one here. 1, 2 strokes. I'll leave the center light and I pull off these outside pieces. That leaves that vein nice and light. Just adds a little bit of light in there. Right. Now just kind of looking around, one last little dark. I'm going to put just a little bit of darker right next to this handle. Rinse my brush. I'm going to pull that out a little bit. Darken that up a little bit. I like this leaf coming over the top of that teapot. Kind of flows down nice. Yep, I think that works great. So again, I don't want to overwork it too much. I'm going to let that dry. I think I'm pretty much there. I may put a few more darks in, but I think I'm getting dark enough and I don't want to overwork it. So I'm going to let that be for a bit, let it dry off.